So, a couple of new gnomes to my family of gnomes. They won't get lonely for sure, and I may have a problem with gnomes.
Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, November the 25th, 2024, vlog number 385. We are 1 month away from Christmas Day. Are you panicking? I know in the States this Thursday is American Thanksgiving, and that's a big thing in the States, and then it's Black Friday, and then we're into full swing Christmas season, right? And I know I woke up early this morning, like about 4 o'clock in the morning, and things that I need to do yet are going around and around in my head to the point where I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed. And when I get a little overwhelmed with what I have to do is I make lists and start organizing my thoughts in lists, and I start checking things off, and that puts a little more sanity into my brain. But every year I go through this when it comes to Christmas decorating. Since we're not even going to be here on Christmas Day, we'll be leaving for the Stephanie Stitches retreat in Georgia. I keep debating, should I put up Christmas decorations or not? It's not like we have a lot of people over at Christmas, because we don't, just family kind of a thing. And yeah, so I don't know, but I'm going to do it anyways. Why? Because I've been making a lot of things in my 3D printer for Christmas. So this year, I think I'm going to lay everything out in the rec room on tables, sort it out. And this time I'm really going to go through a lot of my old Christmas decorations, and I'm going to pitch them. Things I don't need, I don't want, they don't bring me joy anymore. Why hang on to them? Now, I've been doing that over the last couple of Christmases, but this year I'm going to have to be ruthless with the stuff. And anyways, you'll get to hear some more about that and see more of that in the coming days and weeks. But let's take a look at the other things that are on my back burner that they're not really on the back burner. I'm kind of working on them. And this, of course, is the pain of my existence. It is called the Barn Star Sampler. This is the two biggest blocks. They're both the same in this quilt. And I had some major problems with both these blocks. It's become now a challenge, and I'm not going to let it defeat me. I have been told that the other blocks are smaller and they get easier. This is the hardest block. Let us hope so, because this has been making my hair turn white. Well, you know what I mean. So we'll talk more about this and the problems I've had in more detail on the Idiot Quilter tomorrow. And then let's go to our next thing here. Okay, these are the bits and pieces of the In the Hoop freestanding lace combination freestanding applique 3D object that Walter and I are doing as sort of a demo tutorial on Chatty. We did our first segment this past Friday, if you haven't seen it, where we talked about how you construct these things according to the instructions that come with them, and why we don't follow those instructions, and why we do our own thing. And you're saying, of course you're doing your own thing, because do you ever follow the rules? No. But anyways, these are some of the pieces. There are 18 pieces, and I have a few more to get done before this coming Friday. And on Friday, you will see what I'm talking about in the way that these are sewn out on your embroidery machine. Again, more about that when we come to the Idiot Quilter tomorrow. Okay, let's go back here. So that's what I've been working on. But like I said, I've got a pile of other things. I have Christmas gifts, retreat packages, get my decorations up. There's a ton of things to do. And everything is kind of piled high in a Lucy room. I just cleaned that out not too long ago, and now I filled it again. And so, yeah, I got to do some more reorganization amongst all the other things. Yeah, life sucks, doesn't it, really, when you're having fun? And it is kind of fun. It's just overwhelming fun. Okay, let's talk about the YouTube channel of the week. And this is called the craziest and coolest stuff from the National Hardware Show. Now, you're going to say, but you're not the kind of person who really gets into hardware. That's not true. I actually do. Um, I mean, I'm useless in a workshop. Okay. I'm useless with tools, but I love them. And why do I love tools? It's the same reason why I love sewing machines and embroidery machines and all those kind of 3D printing, because they're gadgets, they're tools, they're machines, and I love machines. So if you're in that category as well, you're going to want to check out this video. So here's my review of that. This week's YouTube video clip comes from the National Hardware Show. Didn't know that was a thing. And this is a great video showing you all the latest innovations for those of you that like to do woodworking or mechanical things, stuff like that. Or if you're like me, you're just into gadgets. I found this really fascinating. Now, you know, I am not a woodworker. I am not a car mechanic, anything like that. But I love tools. I love gadgets that help you do things better. And this is what you see here. So if you're the same way, if you're kind of into that kind of thing, then you'll want to check out the craziest and coolest stuff from the National Hardware Show. So you'll find that link in the show notes below. You'll also find a link for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, which we have every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time start. All are welcome. And you will find various links for some free patterns of mine that you might be interested in. You'll find links to all of my friends' channels, and you'll find links to what I talk about today and all my past videos in the past week. They're all there for your entertainment enjoyment, I guess. Okay, so let's take a look. It is early. I told you I woke up at 4. I did not get out of bed until a quarter after 5. It seems anymore once I'm awake. My brain starts churning. You know what it's like. All those thoughts, you can't sleep anymore. You might as well get up and get the day started. And so that's what I'm doing. So at about, let's see, it's 10 to 7 in the morning here right now, but this picture you're about to see outside is from about 6:30 this morning. So yes, it is dark. You can see a few stars. You can see a glow in the background. That is probably street lights. I was going to say it's the glow of the sun coming up, but at that point in time, no, the sun's still not up here, okay, even as I record this. So this is what it's looking like out there. You'll notice there's a lack of snow. I'm not complaining. It hasn't really been cold enough to snow. The trees are dead. Well, the leaves are anyways off it. Walter got the Christmas decorations up over the last week. I'm going to talk about those in a bit. He even made his own little floral arrangement for outside on the step this year. And I'll show you a better picture of that. You can see it here sort of in the dark, but it looks better than that. It looks better in the daylight. But all the lights are up and everything. The house looks quite pretty. We're not as elaborate as the ones across the street, but more about that later. So what's the temp? Well, right now it is currently 1 degree C. And the high today is going to be 7. So, yeah, it's still not cold enough really to snow. And I'm not complaining. If there's no snow, then it doesn't need to be shoveled, don't need to be driven into, don't need to throw on my boots and stuff like that. So I'm not complaining about no snow. And what's the forecast this week, though? Do we have snow in it? No, we have rain. Yes, we do have rain coming up tomorrow, 65% chance and an 85% chance. Well, that's today. 65% chance of rain today and 85% chance tomorrow. Rain, yeah. In some ways, I'd rather have snow, but, you know, I'm a little, I don't know. I can't make up my mind. And really, the temperatures are all hovering around 1, 2, 3, and 5 degrees this coming week. And really, after Tuesday, no indication of any snow coming up for the next week. So, weird, isn't it? The weather we're having. Is it global warming? I don't know if it is. Maybe it's just the cycle of the earth. I mean, it's Mother Nature. What can you do about it? Not much. We just have to live with it, I guess. So that's what's happening outside on my front step today. So that takes me to what's pissing me off this week. Okay, I wrote here in my note, you saw it in my my heading for this. Pick the mountain you wish to die on. That's a favorite expression of mine. I use that a lot, and it means something to me. What it means to me is don't sweat the little things, which is another cliche or whatever you want to call it. Um, it just means, sometimes we take the tiniest thing and get really upset about it, and that can have consequences. When if we just stand back from it for a minute and go, is this really majorly affecting my life? And what can I do about it anyways? And it is worth my putting my efforts into solving a perceived problem. Okay, because a lot of times the problems we have are perceived. They're in our minds. They're really not problems at all, but they get our goat. And when we get our goat all up, riled up, we have to go at it, don't we? Well, a lot of people feel that way, I think. And it especially is true with people who give criticism on the pretense that they're being helpful. And there is no better example of that than on social medias, especially on YouTube. People write comments. Everybody has an opinion. Well, there's a saying about that, isn't it? You know, assholes and opinions. What do they have in common? Everybody's got one, right? But sometimes I don't know what drives people to feel that they need to be helpful, that the person they're helping is stupid, because that's how they're making the person feel. They state the most obvious things, or they state things that, huh? Yeah, that's all you can say. You just go, what's that all about? And maybe it's because, and I've had this discussion before on here, maybe it's because we've got this screen in front of us and we feel we're protected by that wall, that invisible shield. So for some reason, we think we can say whatever we want to say. But we convince ourselves that we're not really giving criticism, that we're being constructive. We're helping the person. And an expression I really am starting to hate is constructive criticism. Is there really any such thing? Criticism is criticism, and criticism does not have a positive connotation, no matter whether or not you stick a word in front of it and try to make it sound positive, like constructive. It is still criticism. Now, I suppose it all depends on the way that that criticism is delivered and who it's delivered to and who it's delivered by. For example, a really, really close friend can give you criticism, but they know you. They know what trigger they might push, so they avoid the trigger. They genuinely want to help you out. You know that that's what their intentions are if you know them well enough. If they're a good friend, you know they're only there trying to help, to be helpful, to be positive about the situation. But you have people on something like YouTube or Facebook that you don't know. You don't know anything about them. You don't know the words that come out of their mouth. They actually don't come out of their mouth. They come through their fingers, because written communication is a very different line of communication than face to face. If you tell me something and it sounds like it might be criticism, but I can read your face, the context for it, I may realize you're not really giving me a negative. You're actually trying to be helpful and positive. But the same can't be said for a few lines of text that people write. And that means it's much more open to interpretation. And depending on your mood, how you take that suggestion or criticism, those are all factors that figure into it. And you don't have the contextual clues that you would have if you were right there with the person. But again, going back to where people all have an opinion, people say cruel things. Oh, I really don't like that color. Or, oh, well, you're looking good today. Now, they may mean that as a compliment, but does that mean that every other day I look like crap? Again, depends on my mood, how I might take that. And when I say me, I just don't mean me. I mean people in general. All right. So people are very, very quick to criticize everything. And I know I've been there. I am not exempt from this. I am no Pollyanna here. I do my fair amount of criticism as well. However, the one thing I try not to do, and I've been tempted to, but I've pulled myself back again, pick that mountain you want to die on, is to something on a YouTube video has disturbed me, or there's been information that I consider that has been delivered and it's incorrect, and I want to correct the person. And so I'm about to sit at the keyboard and type something, and then I stop. And I try to put myself in that person's shoes, or at least think about it. How would I feel if what I'm about to write was directed at me? Would it make me happy? Would I see that this is a positive? Forget the finger. The thing does it automatically when I put my thumbs up. And that usually holds me back from writing anything. There was something I was going to write the other day from a video that I was watching. And I started to type it, and I thought, no, 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 not good. Actually, it wasn't really a criticism. It was a compliment. But I thought, this person doesn't know me, and they might think I'm being sarcastic. I'll tell you what it was. Somebody on one of the videos that I watch, actually, it's one of the videos I watch about cruising, about cruises and stuff like that. One of the people in the video is a heavy-set gentleman, but lately he's been losing weight, and good for him. Like, very nice. And he has slimmed down considerably, and it's very noticeable. And I thought, I have never written anything on their particular YouTube channel, and I thought, well, I'll pay him a compliment, because it is obvious that he has really worked hard at this. And so I started to write, I put, wow, have you ever lost a lot of weight? Good for you. No. I erased that. I didn't send that, because I meant it in a positive way, but this person doesn't know me or whatever. They might have taken it as a criticism. Maybe I was being sarcastic. You see, it's very hard to write something in that form, in that media, that, depending on where it's going to, how they will interpret it. So best not to do that. But that doesn't stop people. They're up on those mountains all the time. And how do I handle it? When negative comments or sarcastic comments or whatever, or busybody comments, because those are another type of criticism, busybody. I know more than you, and I'm going to prove it. I ignore them. I could react, but then again, pick the mountain you want to die on. Is it worth my time and effort to react to those kind of comments? Because what's it going to do in the long run? Nothing. Make me feel more sad. Will I get satisfaction out of that? No, not really. And so it's best just to let it go. Like, what was that movie? Frost, Snow, whatever it was, let it go, let it go, let it go. The song we all got sick of very quickly. So I guess that's the thing. I guess what we all need to think about is, when we put fingers to keyboard, before we hit that send button or that return key, review what you have written and think about it. Too many people hit the send button too quickly. And I have been guilty of that myself as well. I am, like I said, I'm no Pollyanna here. I make mistakes as well. So yeah, think about it. And I love the expression, pick the mountain you want to die on. Okay, moving right along, let's take a look at what's happening with the grow lights. Well, we have started to use the other set of grow lights now, which Walter did some work on. Now, this is what I call grow light number 2. And we've got our lettuces coming up very nicely. Those are little peppers happening there too. And then we have the basil looking really good. Very nice and lush. In sharp contrast to grow light number 1. Uh-oh. Well, not really. What Walter did was he thinned out the lettuce in grow light number 2 and replanted them, transplanted them in here. And so they've had a little bit of a setback, but they will hopefully perk up. And he planted some more lettuce in there. And I don't know if he's got anything else. I don't think there's anything in the third pot yet. So slowly but surely, we're starting our winter crop here. So that's always nice with that. Okay, so that takes me to new products. Well, I have several new products here. One of them is, let me get it up here, fabric. Of course it's fabric, but isn't this pretty? This was Walter's Christmas gift to me, all of these lovely, luscious fabrics. And I will talk more about these fabrics in a little bit more detail. And I've actually done a little video where I've spread them out more so you can see them in their full beauty. Now my job is to find a pattern that these fabrics will be worthy of. And I have done a little research and I have found a couple of things. I even started to design my own, but I don't know if I will design my own for this. Printers are working here and they were making strange noises. Yeah, worried about that. Anyways, I digress. So I will talk more about these on Idiot Quilter tomorrow, Tuesday. Yes, I restocked my filaments. I went on a little spree and I bought a lot of filament. And I have them all labeled there. And I love the ones that are multicolored and that kind of thing. And yeah, I don't get too tied up with having to print something in a solid color. I like the multicolor. So yeah, that's a lot of filament. And believe me, I need more. That's only one cupboard. There's a cupboard on either side of that that have some filament in them, but not as much. And so yeah, I may be stocking up on those as well. Oops, not that yet. Now, the other thing is, oops, okay, I'm having a little problem with my buttons. There we go, I'm back. I have something else to show you, but I have to call it up here on the screen. And here it is. And I bought another one of those stands for my camera system and for my phone. I love this system. It is excellent. It's a little pricey at $150. This is Canadian. This is on Amazon.ca. But this is so versatile. I use the first one I bought, I use all the time. I wanted a second one to put my cell phone in because it makes it a little bit more portable. My other cameras that are in it are wired into my system, so I've got long cords. But I can also, with the power of my MacBook, I can tie it in with my phone, with my iPhone, and it makes the whole thing a little bit more versatile, a little bit more portable. And I am planning to take this system down. I've got the box for it. I'm going to put it in the box, take it down to Stephanie's retreat, because of course we like to do some lives, and this will make doing the live so much easier rather than taking a bunch of books or something and trying to pile up my equipment. I'm taking my computer though with me as well. Now, I have never taken this computer that I'm working with right now, my MacBook. I have never taken it anywhere with me. It's a permanent fixture kind of in my room, but it is a laptop, and I intend to take that with me down to the retreat as well. It'll just make doing videos so much easier, I think, if I do that. And it doesn't take up a lot of space. So, and we don't have much space, I can tell you, with all the stuff we're lugging down to the retreat. So yeah, this is very good. I first saw it when I visited Stephanie last summer, and she loved it. And so I got one too. And yes, I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for something like this, I highly recommend it. And yeah, I'm sure it's available on Amazon.com as well as Amazon.ca. Probably cheaper on Amazon.com. Okay. So that takes me to, can I print this 3D effing thing? And I have been working on a variety of challenging projects right now, and I call it gnomes, boxes, and pots. So I've got a little video clip to show you about all of that that'll insert here.
Okay, so I'm at it again, printing just some random things on the 3D printers. Now I've finished the big build for the Christmas house I showed last week, and I thought I'd show you what I've printed this week. Nothing really all that exciting, but I do like the color of the filament that I use. So on this end here, that of course is a flower pot. And I think the shape is really cool, but it's the filament more or less that I like that has this sort of ombre effect. And the same here, same filament, but just a little bit different. The filament changes according to how big the print is, because it's all put out in straight lines, the color. So there's, a line of this color, a line of that color, etc., and they blend into each other. So you never know exactly what's going to come out. But that doesn't bother me. I really quite like that. So that's another flower pot. And I do need a flower pot because I've got some philodendrons rooting upstairs and I need to get them repotted. Now, in the background here, you see two boxes. Let me move him and him out of the way. And basically, I printed these out of another filament that is a rainbow type of filament. And again, I like the ombre effect. And these were not a perfect print because they were supposed to have a lid as well. But it wouldn't print the lid properly because there wasn't any support for it. And the lid was on top of these boxes, and I wasn't sure how to separate the lid from the rest of the box. So once it got up to starting the printing of the lid, which was not successful, I stopped the printer and just used them as you see them here. And they're just a really good size for holding or for holding charm packs of fabric. So, and they look nice on my shelf as well. And then, of course, a couple of new gnomes, couldn't resist. These are Christmas gnomes, but they look like they're wearing knitted hats. And you can see the detail here in both of these. There's little snowflakes on the hats. This guy's got a little different bottom part in two colors because I was using up some filament that wasn't enough to do a complete figure. And I like that. That doesn't bother me. I like mixing up the colors a little bit. And this guy, he's a two-toner, as you can see. And depending on the way the light hits him, dictates what color he becomes. And I love that filament as well. This guy, similar, the upper part, but not quite as obvious as this one. So they're just part of my gnome collection. I may have a problem. Yeah, too many gnomes. But anyways, that's what I've been up to on can I print that effing thing on my 3D printers this week.
So I continue with printing. I've been printing some really cool Christmas items. Yeah, I need more Christmas items, not. And I'm desperately trying to print Dragon again, and I've been having a lot of problems. This is about my fourth attempt, and just a second ago, you didn't notice it, but I kind of stopped the recording because I had something go wrong with the printer that it was printing, and I'm at 89% of a 2-day print. I got it to resume. I'm hoping it's okay. I don't know why it did that. I think I have a short in one of my cables. So I'll have to look into that after this Dragon gets done and see what's going on with it. 3D printers. When you have a 3D printer, there is always something you have to tinker with. And it's not great when that happens. Okay. So anyways, back on track here. A blast from the past. Back in the days when I used to make things that were so much simpler and depended on a little lesser of the technology that was out there. So of course we're coming to Christmas time, and so you may be thinking about Christmas cards. Me, for one, I don't send out Christmas cards. It's like you have to take out a small loan from the bank to do so these days because of the Canadian mail system is expensive as hell. And right now they're on strike anyway, so screw that. So anyways, at one point in my life when I did do that, I used to make cards, and this was a real cool technique of its day then. We're talking about 12 years ago, and it was called hot foil Christmas cards. And here's what I was doing with those.
Hi, in this video I thought I'd show you some of the Christmas cards that I've made from bits and pieces of stuff I had left over from last year's Christmas rush. But what I was really doing was experimenting with making these poinsettias using foil. Now, everybody's probably heard about the Mink machine, and the Mink machine is basically a heat foil machine that applies foil to anything that has a toner-based outline. So for example, you could take one of these, and as I did, and stamped it, and then I scanned it into my computer and then printed it on my laser printer. Not a LaserJet, a laser printer. This process will not work on a LaserJet. You have to have the toner for this. You could also photocopy it if it's got toner as well. And then what you do is, once you've printed it out, you lay down your foil, and it has to be heat transferable foil, and over top of the toner, and run it through something that's hot like a laminator. Now I have a heat laminator, and that worked very well. But the Mink is also basically a heat laminator as well. It's just a little bit nicer looking, I suppose, and a little more compact because you can get it in two sizes. So I thought, well, let's see what happens when I do this. So the poinsettias that I'm using on this come from the Heartfelt collection set called Sparkling Poinsettias. And as I said, what I did was I stamped them first, scanned them into my computer, then printed them from my laser printer. Then I laid the foil down on top of them and ran them through my laminator, set at the highest setting. And so what happened is, and I don't know if the camera will pick this up, you see the shimmer that's on here? Anything that had the toner on it picked up the gold that I used, the gold foil. Now this came out plain, so for example on this card you can see maybe a little better the gold in around all the lines and everything that's that. It's subtle, but it's there. Then what I did was I simply took, on this one's case, I used my Paper Blossom kit with a stylus and did the paper, you know, how you roll it around with a stylus to make it puff up, and put down the layers and glued it on. So I thought that was kind of cute. That was nice. Then I thought, well, what would happen if you were to take it and just print out a solid block of black on the laser printer, and then cover that with foil, and then die cut your flowers out from that? Well, this is basically what I got. Totally different effect. In fact, I don't know if you can see it or not, there look like little black specks here. That's just how it reacted to the heat when I laid it down into the toner. I kind of like that effect in itself, and this almost looks metallic, so that's kind of an interesting effect as well. On this particular one, what I did was, after I ran it through, making it into the white version basically, with the gold around the edges, I simply, before I cut it out, and I'm cutting these out using the matching dies from Heartfelt Creations, so that does all the cutting for me. What I did was I took Distress ink, two colors. I think I used Festive Berries and, no, it wasn't Barn Door, it was something else. Oh, Worn Lipstick. And I just kind of went all over this whole thing with those inks. And the gold kind of resists it, so you don't have to worry about it covering up the gold. Then I put it through the die machine, cut them out, then did the Paper Blossom kind of stylus thing with it again, and puffed it up. And it looks, I think it looks pretty good. I did the leaves that go with it, and with the leaves, I ran that through the, you know, on this video today, you've heard a lot of noises in behind. That's my clock, my computer's gone off a couple times, and my watch has gone off. So just try to ignore those. I'm going to. So what I did with this was I just took green cardstock, printed on it in the laser printer, and then I laid down the gold foil, ran it through the laminator, and picked up the leaves. And so you see, you get a bit of the shimmer. So that's not bad at all. Now, if you don't have a heat laminator, you can do all of these same techniques using the Mink, the Heidi Swap Mink machine. It'll work with that as well. So here are the cards I created, and I was at first just putting these together as an experiment, but I thought, well, what the heck? Let's take a look at my Christmas stash of stuff and see what I've got laying around. So I had some paper from last year left over. I had some Heartfelt Creations paper pad cutouts. That's what all of these words are that you see on the cards themselves. And the backgrounds are from a variety of leftover papers, Bo Bunny and Kaiser Craft from last year's collections. Actually, I think they turned out pretty nice. This one's very pretty. I did this in the pinky foil. Actually, it's the foil, Heidi Swaps foil that goes along with the mink. The gold is actually some old stuff. I don't even think you can get anymore. That used to be put out by the company that made my laminator. And I can't even tell you what the name of that is now. It was like Geofoil or something like that. So those turned out nice. I like the white one. I think the white, and I made the leaves white too. I think that's very sophisticated looking. And then you've seen these other ones. This is a pinky colored one. So I think if you're going to use the mink's a great tool if you don't have a heat laminator for laying down foil, as I've said, and working with your Heartfelt or other dies and rubber stamps. I've done some that I don't have here to show you right now with butterflies. And they came out pretty nice too. So adds a little elegant touch of sparkle to your Christmas cards. So I think these are looking pretty good.
So I mentioned that Walter got all the Christmas lights up and everything, and he made his little Christmas pot for outside. He likes to do one of these every year, but he usually goes to Costco or Canadian Tire and picks up one there. But they're as expensive as hell this year. Like, we're seeing them that are nowhere even as nice as this one we have, like for $65. It seems a little extravagant. Well, Walter saves what he can from the ones he's had from previous years, like those birch logs, and there was some those red things there and whatnot, some pine cones and whatnot. And I think he saved the bow as well. And then he just goes and he gets some more greenery and shoves it in the pot. And lo and behold, this is what we have. Now, he's not done yet. Another item for this pot came. He got a string of, I think they're battery-powered little lights that he wants to put in that pot as well. But yeah, you know, he could have a second career as a flower arranger, because I think he did a really nice job on this. It looks really cool. But he also did a really nice job of the Christmas lights. Now, we're not like some people in our neighborhood who, like, every inch of their front of their house has a light on it somewhere in their lawn, and they've got little blow up things. There's a place down the street that has every blow up Christmas thing there ever was. You know, the big giant things that, you know, sit there and, you know, and wave at you, kind of a deal, full of air. We don't have any of those, and I don't want any of those. Be honest, I think they're a little tacky. You know, kids love them though, right? You know, the kids really get, and that's okay. But anyways, so our Christmas decorations are not a spectacular light show like some people get into, like our neighbors across the street from us. But they'll do. They're okay. And Walter worked on them. That's his department, and I think they look nice. So I did a little quick video that I'll insert here so you can see what I'm talking about.
So Walter finished putting up the Christmas lights, and there's everything that is here right now. He has all these candy canes down here, and the bushes are all lit up, and he's got the house as well. So, yep, Christmas has arrived, I guess.
So what's coming up? Well, if you were on Stephen and Walter Live yesterday, you heard us mention this. Walter is also in the process. He's my travel agent and my exterior home decorator. He is making plans for our trip in the spring to the Netherlands. Walter's family comes from there, as you probably know. Walter was born here in Canada, but he has Dutch roots. And this is sort of a old man nostalgia trip. We've been to the Netherlands before, but it was many years ago, and we're going back. Now, Walter doesn't really have any relatives. Well, he does have a few distant cousins over there, but they're people he hasn't seen since he was 3 years old. So yeah, probably wouldn't recognize us now, right? We got old. So we're really not going over there to see any kind of relations. we're just going to travel around the Netherlands. And Walter has now kind of decided instead of getting a rented car, we're going to take the train system, which will be kind of exciting. We've never really done that. And the train system in the Netherlands is somewhat like a subway system in a major city here in North America. It doesn't go underground for obvious reasons. The Netherlands, a lot of it is below sea level, that kind of thing. But yeah, so he's working on that. We've got our flight already. That's all booked, paid for, the whole bit. And he's working on hotels and he's got those pretty much sorted out. And so what we're going to see and when and the itinerary, he's working on all of that. For me, I have no idea what we're going to see or what we're doing. As I said yesterday on Stephen Walter Live, I'll get up, I'll say it's Tuesday. What are we seeing today? And that's just fine with me. That works out very well. So that's what he's been working on a lot of. And let's see. Oh, yeah. So, special note here. I am going to have another pop-up sew day on Saturday, December the 7th, 1 week from this Saturday coming. But this one's a special Christmas edition. That's what I'm calling it. And what makes it a special Christmas edition? Well, if you would like to show something, a Christmas creation of some sort, we will have a show and share for all of that. You don't need to send me pictures of it or anything like that. We'll do it right there live on the Zoom. And it could be a quilt. It could be a garment. It could be a Christmas decoration. Something that maybe you made maybe many years ago or maybe this year. Whatever. Something's got maybe a little story to it behind it or whatever. And we will throughout the day be sharing these items with everybody if you so desire. Also, I'm going to have some prizes. Now, it's not going to be prizes like I have on my retreat. It is going to be patterns, Christmas patterns for, Christmas quilts, Christmas table runners, those kind of things. And I'll be upfront about it. Some of them I have paid for. I bought them. Many of them are freebies. They're ones that I scoured the internet for and thought they looked interesting and they were free. So yeah, we're going to have some draws and throughout the day. So if you want to dress the part, you want to wear an ugly Christmas sweater. I don't own a Christmas sweater. In fact, I don't own a sweater. I don't wear sweaters. Used to when I was younger, don't anymore. And they make you look fat or kind of a thing. But I've never been into the ugly Christmas sweater thing at all in my life. But if you are, that is just fine. Wear one if you wish. Up to you. So if you want to get festive about it, by all means, get yourself some little Christmassy cookies or something too to nibble on during the day. That might be fun as well. Just kind of the Idiot Quilter way of welcoming in the holiday season. So that is on December the 7th. I will put the link for the Zoom in my show notes next week. Not this week. You won't find it in my videos this week. But starting with Stephen and Walter Live next Sunday, the link for it will be there, and it'll be in my vlog next week. It'll be in my Idiot Quilter next week. It'll be in So Chatty next week as well. And I'll be sending it out to those of you on my mailing list as well. So yeah, that is Saturday, December the 7th. Okay, so I think that's it for me today. I hope you have a great week. I hope you're getting into the festive spirit of things. And happy Thanksgiving to all of my American subscribers out there. And get out there and get some great Black Friday sales if you can find them. Okay, have a good one. Bye for now.